Lil Durk is currently behind bars, facing allegations that have sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world. Federal prosecutors claim the Chicago rapper placed a hit on fellow artist Quando Rondo, allegedly ordering violence as part of an ongoing street feud that spiraled out of control. But as the case unfolded, it took an unexpected and chaotic turn. Rumors began to spread online suggesting that Durk not only targeted Quando Rondo, but was also allegedly connected to plots against his own allies, including members of O Block, the neighborhood that shaped his rise to fame. With misinformation, leaked documents, and speculation flooding social media, separating fact from fiction has become nearly impossible. But court records, filings, and insider reports reveal a much deeper story, one that involves legal loopholes, strained loyalties, and a system struggling to control the violence tied to fame. Durk's trial was originally expected to begin in 2025, but prosecutors requested more time, pushing the court date all the way to 2026. Claiming they needed additional evidence to build their case. Meanwhile, Durk's defense team, led by high-profile attorney Drew Findling, launched a series of counterattacks in court. Their first move, to challenge the credibility of the lead federal prosecutor, Bill Assail, who, according to Durk's lawyers, was not lawfully designated as the U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California. Findling's team even filed a motion demanding that Assail be removed from the case entirely, citing legal misconduct and improper appointment. They weren't the only ones. Several other defense attorneys from unrelated cases filed similar motions questioning Assail's qualifications, creating an unusual moment of unity in the legal world. However, removing a federal prosecutor is no simple task. Even if Assail were dismissed, the state could simply assign another federal attorney to take over the case, ensuring the trial against Lil Durk moves forward regardless of personnel changes. But that wasn't Durk's team's only strategy. Attorney Drew Findling also filed a motion to dismiss the case entirely, arguing that the prosecution's allegations were too vague to defend against. According to the filing, the federal government claimed Durk used coded language to instruct associates to target Quando Rondo, implying that if Rondo were killed, the shooters would be rewarded with either cash payments or music industry opportunities. Durk's legal team fired back, arguing that these accusations were baseless and lacked necessary detail. They insisted that the government had not provided specifics, no confirmed messages, no set amount of money, no clear communication showing intent. In their words, the prosecution's theory of guilt is unclear, inconsistent, and subject to change depending on witness cooperation. The motion alleged that prosecutors were essentially throwing everything they could at Durk, hoping that something, anything, would stick. Then came a major revelation. Federal documents began to leak, suggesting that investigators were even using Durk's own lyrics and interviews as evidence. In one report, prosecutors referenced his 2021 track, Who Wants Smoke, in which Durk raps, "They be on my page like Slide for Von. I know they trolling me." To federal investigators, those weren't just lyrics. They claimed it was Durk acknowledging fan pressure to retaliate for the death of King Von, his close friend and label mate, killed outside an Atlanta nightclub in 2020. In another key piece of evidence, prosecutors cited Durk's interview with DJ Academics. During the conversation, Durk mentioned that he no longer saw fans posting Slide for Von, implying that the calls for retaliation had quieted. Investigators interpreted that statement as Durk hinting that the retaliation had already been carried out. Court documents also mention witness statements attempting to connect Lil Durk to a failed hit on Quando Rondo in Georgia back in 2021. Reports claim that Quando Rondo was performing in Savannah and, after the show, was ambushed by unknown shooters. Bullets missed their main target but struck one of Rondo's associates in the hand. Federal agents now believe that this incident was an attempted retaliation ordered by Durk in response to Von's death. The timeline, location, and alleged coded messages are all now part of the ongoing federal investigation. But just as the case seemed to be focused on Quando Rondo, another shocking accusation surfaced. In newly surfaced documents, still unverified, Durk was alleged to have ordered hits on O Block, the very community he once represented. According to these claims, investigators obtained text messages between Durk and one of his close associates, Boone Mo, from 2023. In the messages, Durk allegedly wrote, "I'm going to pipe it up." Boone reportedly replied, "Blood is green. Getting stuff together now. No phones." A cooperating witness allegedly told authorities that Durk wanted both Boone and the witness to target individuals from O Block, accusing them of not getting back for Vaughn. The same witness claimed that money from Durk was used to buy a car meant to carry out the hit. However, the attempt never took place. The suspects backed off after realizing the area was heavily policed that night. the investigation began to focus on one man in particular, Manaduk, a respected O-Block OG and one of King Von's closest friends. Von even mentioned him by name on the song Demon, rapping, "Talking about bodies, I got a few. 4 plus 3, 3 plus 2. I'm King Von, who is you? We gon' buy the mall when they free Duke." According to federal allegations, Lil Durk had grown frustrated with Manaduk in 2023. Believing he failed to avenge Von's death, reports claimed Durk allegedly wanted Manaduk taken out. But before anything could happen, the plan collapsed when one of the alleged participants, the same Boon Mo mentioned in earlier messages, backed out. Manaduk later faced his own troubles. After serving time for a weapons charge in 2024, he was released, only to be killed months later. In 2025, both Manaduk and his associate Young were gunned down on Chicago's North Side. Police never made any arrests, but online rumors once again tied the murder back to Durk's circle, claiming it was members of Ghoulie Gang, a rival group to O-Block, who carried out the shooting. Ironically, Ghoulie Gang and O-Block were once allies, but things fell apart when a Ghoulie Gang member allegedly tried to rob O-Block's own boss top, sparking a violent feud. To make matters even more suspicious, Lil Durk later signed Chucky, a rapper affiliated with Ghoulie Gang, to his OTF label, further fueling speculation that alliances were shifting behind the scenes. According to some reports, Durk's alleged motivation to target Manaduk wasn't just about revenge. After Durk's brother D-Thang was killed, Manaduk reportedly began a relationship with D-Thang's former girlfriend, and even had a child with her. For Durk, insiders claim, that was a deep betrayal. On his track, Moment of Truth, Durk raps, "You ain't helped the day my brothers die. You weren't right with me." To prosecutors, lines like these were more than artistic expression. They argued that Durk's lyrics blurred the line between music and confession. When Durk released threats to everybody, investigators took notice again. He rapped, "Think about what you sayin' with me. Look what's going on with the other side. Got paperwork, don't shake no hands with me. Make an example for the ones that keep playing with me." Federal agents highlighted these lyrics as further evidence of Durk's alleged intent to intimidate, retaliate, or threaten rivals, and possibly witnesses. Still, as of now, there is no direct proof linking Lil Durk to the murders of Manaduk or Young. Much of the evidence remains circumstantial, or based on unverified, leaked paperwork. Even the alleged documents circulating online are viewed with skepticism, as they use street nicknames instead of legal names, something that would never appear in legitimate federal filings. But even with the credibility of those leaks in question, prosecutors have not relented. And while the case has expanded far beyond Quando Rondo, it's clear that federal agents believe Durk sits at the center of a network of retaliatory violence, fueled by loyalty, revenge, and street politics that spilled into fame. Durk's legal team continues to deny all allegations, maintaining that much of the so-called evidence is either fabricated, taken out of context, or misinterpreted lyrics and messages. By mid-2025, Lil Durk's legal situation had gone from complicated to critical. Despite ongoing motions from his lawyers, the court denied bail, citing that Durk was a potential flight risk and a danger to the community if released before trial. In court, prosecutors claimed that several witnesses linked to Durk's case had either gone missing or suddenly changed their statements. This raised suspicions of possible witness intimidation, though no evidence directly tied Durk to any tampering. Still, the optics were damaging. Federal agents began tracing every phone call, visit, and letter that reached Durk behind bars, hoping to catch any sign of coordination or threats being made from the inside. According to reports from insiders, Durk has been maintaining a low profile in custody. He rarely interacts with other inmates and spends most of his time writing lyrics, praying, and speaking to family members. Sources close to him say he's focused on fighting his case, not on the streets. But prosecutors argue otherwise. In one new filing, they claim that messages passed through intermediaries, mostly associates and social media accounts, show Durk still has influence over street activity. One line allegedly read, "Stay ready. Don't talk to nobody. We coming home soon." Durk's defense dismissed this as pure misinterpretation, saying the messages were motivational words to fans, not coded instructions. In early 2025, unverified documents surfaced online claiming that one of Durk's own associates had turned state witness. The alleged informant, nicknamed Lil T, reportedly cooperated with federal investigators after being arrested on unrelated charges. The document, however, was never confirmed by court records or any official source. Legal experts have warned fans not to believe every paperwork leak seen online. Many are doctored or falsely labeled to stir controversy. Yet in the court of public opinion, those leaks had a massive impact. Social media platforms flooded with accusations that Durk's circle was crumbling from the inside. Some fans claimed the OTF family was splitting, while others insisted the rapper was being set up by law enforcement. Throughout it all, Durk has stayed silent. No social media posts, no interviews, no public statements, just a few messages shared through his management team, repeating the same message: he's innocent. He'll fight this case until the truth comes out. Durk's girlfriend, India Royale, was seen visiting him several times during the early months of his incarceration, though she has since kept her distance from public updates about his case. Close friends say she's been keeping things private and focused on her own work. Meanwhile, the Chicago rap scene remains divided. Some artists like G Herbo and Lil Reese have shown quiet support for Durk, while others have distanced themselves, choosing to remain neutral amid the growing federal scrutiny. The King Von connection remains one of the most sensitive aspects of the case. Even years after Von's death, prosecutors continue to suggest that his murder was the spark that reignited a cycle of violence between OTF and Quando Rondo's crew, linked to NBA YoungBoy. Online, the Durk vs. YoungBoy rivalry has become almost mythic, fans dissecting every lyric, every post, every move. But in court, prosecutors argue that this feud isn't just entertainment. It's evidence of a real-life war fueled by music money and personal revenge. When YoungBoy dropped tracks like Bring the Hook and Know Like I Know, prosecutors claim those lyrics helped escalate tensions. Durk's replies, through subtle lyrics and subliminal bars, allegedly kept the feud alive. But as experts have noted, using lyrics as criminal evidence is legally controversial. Free speech advocates argue that rap music is an art form and should not be treated as confession. Others claim that lyrics often reflect real experiences, and in gang-related cases, they can't be ignored. In one of the most debated filings of 2025, the prosecution submitted excerpts from over 20 Durk songs, arguing that his lyrical themes of retaliation, loyalty, and betrayal mirror the pattern of violence in the real world. The defense fired back, saying, if song lyrics are now considered evidence, then every artist is at risk of prosecution for creative expression. This legal battle, about where art ends and evidence begins, could set a major precedent for future hip-hop cases. As months turned to years, Durk's case evolved from a single criminal trial into a symbol of the larger fight between culture, the streets, and the justice system. Inside prison, Durk reportedly requested limited studio access, hoping to record motivational music that would speak to kids coming from nothing. But federal restrictions denied that request, citing security risks. In one letter obtained by a Chicago journalist, Durk allegedly wrote, "They can take my freedom, but they can't take my purpose. I'll be back stronger." Meanwhile, the internet hasn't stopped talking. Fan theories range from claims that the FBI is targeting successful black artists to rumors that rival labels are feeding law enforcement insider information. No concrete proof exists for any of these claims, but they continue to shape public opinion. Others argue that Durk's downfall is a cautionary tale about the cost of staying too close to the streets after fame. He rose from O Block to global stages, but the same environment that built him may also be the one that threatens to destroy him. As of today, Lil Durk remains in custody, awaiting trial. Whether Durk walks free or faces years behind bars, his story will remain one of the most complex and cautionary in modern hip-hop history. Because behind the fame, behind the millions of streams, and behind the music, lies a man fighting for his freedom and for his legacy.